It is time now for all things current in California politics, joined again this week by the editor-in-chief of Capital Weekly publication, Rich Eisen. Rich, welcome back. Kamala Harris still non-committal about running for president again. We're going to have a poll showing how she would compare to Gavin Newsom, who's yet to declare. If you were Kamala Harris's advisor, having run in 2020, dropping out early, then last year, that didn't go well. Is this something she's possibly pushing, or are people saying you can run and win?
Well, I would always be wary if I was her of taking advice from me, but I would say, look, you know, I tend to think this is being driven by her.
Okay.
I really doubt that there's too many people that are strongly encouraging her one way or the other. I know many people who do know her well, and you know, she plays a lot of things very close to the vest. I would tend to think this is something that the sting of last year in particular has not worn off, and so I would be very surprised if this wasn't being something driven by her.
Based on that poll right there, that's the most recent one from September, she would have a Gavin Newsom problem. As it sits right now, they're going to have to work that out, and you would think that Newsom is moving in that direction, which takes me to my next question for you. The latest Emerson College poll, if Newsom becomes the nominee, and he seems to be kind of moving in that direction, even more so now, getting out in front nationally. If he were to get the nomination, and he's comfortably ahead of Harris right now, nobody else seems to be close, a matchup with Gavin Newsom versus JD Vance. Vance at 46, Newsom 45%. This poll is fresh from Emerson. Anything you can take from that, or the fact that they're that close, means what?
It's really hard to determine exactly what that means, you know, because I think at this point, obviously everything is still very speculative as to, you know, who would be in this race. You know, I think what it really shows is, okay, so the power of incumbency is really strong here, but Gavin has made tremendous strides in the last few months. This anti-Trump trolling thing he's done has shown a lot of younger people in particular that he'll fight, and it's the thing that we've seen, you know, in New York City with Mondani, and I think, you know, a lot of younger people are really drawn to somebody who will stand up to things that they're seeing from this administration. So I think really what that poll shows me is that Gavin has gone from being, you know, really hurt by that ridiculous podcast he started earlier this year to really rebounding and becoming a very strong favorite. And again, it's very early.
Sure,
it's very early.
Okay, we will have a primary for governor in June of coming up. So June of next year. We have the latest poll on that. That's from October 21 through 25. And that shows a new number one in this poll. Steve Hilton, a Republican, at 16%. Katie Porter now in second at 15%. Third place is Chad Bianco at 11%. So you've got 2 out of the top 3 are Republicans, and if Bianco were to drop out and say, please, everybody who supports me, please support Steve Hilton, is there a possibility here, based on what you're seeing?
Of a Republican winning the governorship?
Yes, sir.
Well, you know, as my good friend Paul Mitchell always says, math is undefeated, and the reality is, unless something really drastic happens, I would say the odds of a Republican actually getting into the top 2, yes, I think there's a real good possibility of that. Winning the final race, not as likely. I think what that poll shows, again, is Katie Porter really got hurt with, you know, the revelation of these videos and how she's treated her staff, and she's had to actually come out and address it. I mean, that just offends so many people, and again, especially younger people. This is not a generation that was brought up, you know, being comfortable with getting yelled at, right? So this is something I think is more indicative of her. I will say there's still names that we're talking about getting in this. We don't know about Rick Caruso. We don't know about Alex Padilla. Now Eric Swalwell, maybe Tom Steyer. We're so early here. I mean, these polls are going to change exponentially over the next few months. February is the big tail of the ticket, because when they have to start doing some of the reporting to the Secretary of State, you will see a lot of people get out, and that will cope. These numbers are going to change dramatically for, you know, per candidate at that point.
I love to chew on it, though.
Oh, absolutely.
It's interesting discussion.
I think it's entirely possible a Republican could get into the top 2.
Okay, probably so, as it sits right now.
Yeah.
Rich Eisen, thank you.